Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm coming to you with, I guess, a preview video of what I want to talk about this Sunday. Because you guys know on the main channel, the Texas Gun Vault, I have been making kind of commentary videos about certain things that are going on in either like politics or the news, or just kind of general discussions about firearms that aren't necessarily gun reviews or product reviews. And I have gotten a lot of requests this week from people contacting me on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course through YouTube, to do a video regarding my thoughts on what happened with the conviction of, I have to go look up his name, is it Matt Hoover or Mike Hoover of CRS Firearms, for trying to sell those, what do they call them? The auto key cards. Those little pieces of metal that had an etching of, I guess, the components of a drop-in auto sear for an AR-15 that would convert it to full auto, but it was not cut out. It was not impressed into it. It was literally just like a laser etching. And I want to kind of give my thoughts about it, what happened, my personal thoughts when it comes to his legal defense, and I'm still kind of flushing all those thoughts out in my head about what I want to talk about. And but I want to give you guys some bullet points right now. And I'm probably going to make some people mad, especially the people that are the keyboard warriors that hate me, the I will not comply people, and all that kind of stuff. But I want to start off by saying, obviously, this is a huge miscarriage of justice, because as we all know, whether or not he poked the bear, which honestly, that was probably his biggest mistake, or their biggest mistake, because it's two of them. They poked the bear. What they did, in my opinion, was not illegal. And people say, oh, he was selling art. Let's just be honest. It wasn't art. It was just a piece of metal with an etching on it, with no instructions. That I could tell. Maybe it came with instructions. I have no idea. I looked at some pictures of it. It looked like it was just these metal plates is all it looked like to me. And I have not seen any videos on how to turn those into an auto sear. I wish a SOT, someone that can legally make machine guns, would do it to kind of show it off and say, hey, this is the difficulty in making it, or it's easy, because it looks kind of hard to me, because from the pictures I've seen, I don't think I would have the ability to easily do it if I wanted to. Like even with the etching, like I don't have the tools to do it and cut it, and it looks like there's in two parts. I don't know if you have to weld it or not. I have no idea. The ATF, I guess in their case, claimed it took them 40 minutes to do, but I don't have that type of metal knowledge. I'm not a welder. I don't really know what to do on those. But I think we all agree that the knowledge itself is not illegal, because you can go online and you can actually find the dimensions of these devices. So that knowledge is not sacred, it's not impossible to get, it's freely available. And so people, when they say, it's now illegal to share knowledge, no, it's not illegal to share knowledge. I think what happened was he poked the bear. I don't really think the ATF really thought they were going to win the case, okay? But I think they wanted to make an example of him or them when it comes to these. But he was not illegally selling machine guns. He was selling pieces of metal that happen to have an etching on them. And we all know this is a complete miscarriage of justice. However, he played a dangerous game, okay? We all know that we probably live in a post-constitutional republic, in that while we have our rights spelled out in our Constitution and we have legal precedents going back hundreds of years, we know that for the most part, when the government wants to do something, they'll find a way around it, regardless of what the Constitution says or what our laws say or this or that. They will figure out a way around it to get what they want. We live in a post-constitutional republic. And so they poked the bear. They kept saying, hey, we're selling these auto key cards or whatever, and knowing fully well what they were, and the ATF didn't like it, okay? Now, I don't know anybody that actually turned one into a drop-in auto sear. I don't know anybody that committed a crime with one, but I think the ATF just said, hey, you're flaunting this in our face, and we're going to make an example of you, because they have unlimited resources where people defending themselves do not. And I don't think the ATF really thought they were going to win that case. That wasn't going to happen. I think the other thing that this all proves is that a couple of things that I said in the past in previous videos are true, okay? And people didn't like these. Number one, gun owners and all these keyboard warriors, all the people out there that are like, I won't comply, and if they come for my guns, they're going to get the bullets first. You know, all those revolutionaries that talk big online and just repeat the same things over and over again. The ATF can't create law. Like, we all know that. Why are you repeating the same thing 1,000 times? But all these people that talk big, where are they now? Are they going to go out and say, hey, I'm going to make my own auto key cards. I'm going to do it too because I'm not going to comply. No, they're not doing that. You know that on the left, that when somebody gets convicted wrongfully, or in their eyes wrongfully, and gets sent to prison, what do? They go out and they protest. They protest for days, and they mostly peaceful protest, if you know what I'm saying. They burn their cities down. There are rallies in at courthouses across the country. They post videos of it. They fundraise off of it. They hire teams of lawyers. They just do not stop. They show up in person to say things like no justice, no peace, and blah, blah, blah. Well, what do the gun owners do? All these keyboard warriors that claim they're going to fight back and not comply. Where are they? They're nowhere. Because I'm going to call them out right here. I'm going to say a bad word. You guys know I don't usually use bad words on my channel, but they're all pussies. Okay? Every time somebody on my channel is like, I won't comply, and the ATF will get my bullets first before they get my guns, they're all pussies, because they're not out there. And listen, I'm glad that there's nobody out there rioting. I'm glad that there's nobody out there making a fool of themselves. But all these people that talk big, this is why we're losing our gun rights. Okay? Because they don't actually show up. They're not donating to this guy's legal fund so he can hopefully get it overturned in appeal. Are they doing it? Nope. They're talking about it online, man. They're typing away. Woo! You know, this and that, but they're not doing anything, because most gun owners, especially the ones that talk big, are the loudest voices. Yeah, they're pussies. Yeah. The other thing that this proves is that a video that I made recently, and you guys hopefully saw it, about why I think we're going to lose our gun rights in the future. One of the points that I made in that video is that the general population, the people, are stupid. They're ignorant and stupid. And I do not know why, when it came to their defense, they chose to have a jury trial. Because most people in our society are ignorant. I mentioned that. And that all it takes is for a government prosecutor, the ATF, to come to a jury and say, this is a machine gun. Now, most people, they just hear buzzwords, okay? They don't understand that what they were selling was literally a piece of metal. You can go and get a piece of sheet metal from the local hardware store, and you can go online and Google the dimensions of one of these items, the drop-in autoseer, and you can, I guess, like, put it on top of this sheet metal and carve it out. I mean, it's not like this is special knowledge or anything like that. That's not a machine gun. The piece of paper itself and the knowledge is not a machine gun. The sheet metal itself isn't a machine gun. And putting them on top of each other later is not a machine gun. But people are stupid. All they hear is machine gun. And they're just going to go with what the government says. In my personal opinion, what these two people should have done when it came to their trials is is to ask for what's called a bench trial, which is essentially allowing the judge to decide. Because I think the judge would have had better understanding of what was going on and to be able to see the law clearly for what this really was. The fact that they decided to go for a jury trial, I think, was the biggest mistake that they made. And I don't think they should be in jail. Obviously, if I was on the jury, I would not convict them, because a piece of metal is not a machine gun. It doesn't have anything that is carved out on it. It doesn't have any instructions. And even if it did, it wouldn't matter because it's just literally a piece of metal. We all know that, and we're all on the same page. But this was a whole story of people, number one, that poked the bear. Okay, I mentioned this with pistol braces. The reason we're in this whole debacle with pistol braces is because people flaunted it. The ATF said, okay, go ahead and do this. You can have the pistol braces. And then people kept asking them, can I do this to the brace? Can I do this to the brace? And they kept making them more and more like stocks. And eventually the ATF's like, okay, we're done with this. The people poked the bear. They just couldn't stop. And it's the same thing with this. For all I know, and this is something else that I have not gotten word on in the media, and one of my good friends who's a local FFL and SOT asked me this. He goes, I wonder if the ATF sent them a cease and desist letter. Because that's really interesting if they did. So, for example, if this YouTube channel, CRS, is it CRS Firearms or whatever? I'll have to look it up to make sure I credit it right in my main video on the main channel, is if the ATF sent them a cease and desist letter saying, hey, we don't like the fact you're distributing these or selling these or whatever, we're going to send you a cease and desist letter. If they probably would have stopped at that point and just said, hey, we're going to get legal counsel. We're going to pull back on this for right now. We're going to do this a different way. That might not have been an issue. But the ATF, for all I know, sent them a cease and desist letter, which I think most likely they did because they did that with the force reset triggers. They did that with other manufacturers of things that are in this gray area. They're giving them a chance to not proceed. They're saying, hey, if you just cease and desist, and this goes away. Just don't do this. We will not pursue you anymore. And maybe they flaunted them going, put a big middle finger to the ATF and said, we're going to do this. And of course, as I said, the ATF right now is in a post-constitutional structure. They don't care about the law. And they have unlimited resources when it comes to prosecuting people. Like, that's it. I mean, you don't, but they do. So they're like, okay, we may lose this case, but we're going to make it very uncomfortable for them, and we're going to make them spend so much money on their legal defense that even if they prevail, they're going to go out of business and can't do this anymore. And I really think that they were surprised by the conviction, but that's what all this is. So those are the things that are kind of, going through my head right now that I'm wondering about. They should have gone for a bench trial. If they did receive a cease and desist letter, they should have ceased and desisted. The whole thing proves that, number one, you shouldn't poke the bear. Okay. I'm not saying you don't have your rights, and you're free to do whatever you want, but understand that if you want to make change or do something, there's a smart way and a dumb way of doing things. And I think that people that are pushing the limit and essentially raising their middle fingers to the ATF when they're doing these gray area stuff, you're playing a game that you could lose. Okay. There's a smarter way of doing it. But if you're someone that is not in the business of selling these items or wanting to sell these items, if you had your, bump stock, if you had your pistol stabilizing brace, if you had whatever, just don't talk about it and you'll be fine. If everybody just did that, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But also it proves that the general population is stupid, and they are going to cause us to lose our gun rights in the end, because the general population is stupid, and they can be easily persuaded by buzzwords like machine gun, when if you look online at what these people were selling was literally a piece of metal. I don't know how big it was. I have no idea, like this big, or I saw different ones. I don't know. And once again, I don't know how hard it would be to use that and create one. I guess you need a grinder, a welder. I don't know. I'm not a machinist. I'm not a fabricator, so I have no idea. But it didn't have anything on it that you couldn't get online on a piece of paper and etch on yourself. I don't know, but it is a miscarriage of justice. Okay, they shouldn't be convicted. If I was on the jury, I wouldn't have voted for a conviction. They'd be innocent, in my opinion. But that's not what happened. And so those are the things that I'm kind of thinking about for this video. What do you guys think? Give me some insight and thoughts, maybe some things I'm missing or not thinking about that I can kind of rummage through my head and help formulate into that proper video on the main channel. So anyway, that's kind of my first thoughts and impressions on what's going on. People have asked about it, and so that is what I think. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think I make any valid points? So, as always, thanks for watching.